I just wanted to ask about. I know everyone talks about you don't look at the standings when you go in and play, and it's a tough league. But is there a psychological thing when you're a first place club or second place club now, and you're looking, seeing who you're playing? Is that something that you really kind of have to pay attention to block out?
I think players might look at it more than the coaches do. The coaches are always looking at how you're playing, right? They look at the process, how we're going to be a better team, how are we playing now, and the results look at themselves. I think this players walk by the standings and they look at it, hey, we're in first place, or oh, we're in second place, or we're in fifth place, whatever. So maybe the players do, but the coaches, I think coaches more look at how the process is going that leads you to be a first place team or a fourth place team, whatever it is, and you go from there.
Dave, any specific members of the Kings that you'd like me to go to a story on today?
Yeah, that would be perfect.
Hoskin and Jinx.
I was looking for it yesterday, actually. So it would be, deep in the thought process today. No, all good.
I want to ask you about your bench. And when you are finding adversity in games, bad things are happening, like quick goals back to back, what you notice in your bench, the way they react, and if, kind of what you're seeing there, what your observations are.
I see some stuff from our leadership, which I like. I'd actually like to see more vocal when things are good that are happening. Like we kind of take the good in stride and we actually have addressed some of the bad stuff, which is I like, but you'd like to see a little more juice in the good stuff too. But for the most part, our bench isn't bad. Like what I try to do is use the TV timeouts to make sure you get messages across at the right time. I'm not a big guy that's yelling and screaming back there, but our bench for the most part is pretty good. I think there's a lot of constructive talk there and enough emotion to be happy about, but you can always use a little more.
LA scored 10 goals, 5 in both games. The games have been different, but that's still a lot of goals to give up against one team. Is it because you just haven't played very good defense against in either, or was the first game just a wide open game?
In LA, the 5, I didn't like our goaltending on a couple. We gave up one on a power play late that meant nothing, so I don't look at the score, I look at the wins and losses. So we were able to win one, and if you look at the first game in here, we passed 2 right on their stick from our goaltender. So you got to I look at how the goals were scored, not how many they're scored. So there's things that concern you, sure. Do you want to give up 5? Never want to give up 5, and that's what we're talking about the last few days. We're giving up too many goals right now, so that has to be a key. That being said, if we do give up 5, I just want to get 6. Not advised, but it's worked once.
Dave, you mentioned you watch how the goals are given up, and your goals for have pretty much been consistent in all 3 10-game sequences. Your special teams virtually the same. It's only your goals against. So what's changed in just that one element of your team play, because it hasn't slipped into your penalty kill at all?
No, it's not one thing that changes. There's a few things that have changed. We've given up some goals that I don't think our goaltenders were giving up early. We've been chasing some games where I don't like the way we play. When we chase a game, you got to take chances to get back in the game, but the chances we're taking they're not giving us any advantage, and we're giving up some goals there. So it's just a mindset. You got to defend better. So it's not, if I knew it was just one thing, here it is, you could address it, but it's a number of things, and we've addressed that the last couple of days.
Have the injuries and absences in your lineup forced you to play in a slightly different way, or are you trying to play the same way with different personnel?
Well, you gear certain personnel or play certain ways, right? So when you're missing some key people, you don't change your game, but other people recognize that they have to contribute a little more. But sometimes more for them is more of what their style is, you don't try to do more of what a guy's out is doing. So it's every day we look at our lineup and we say, how are we going to win with this lineup? How are we going to gear it? How are we going to play, and how are we going to gear our lines and D pairs to feel like we can win? And that's when you're missing guys, you do the same thing as when those guys are in there.
Your top guys, you played a lot of minutes all year long. I wonder if some of this attention to detail stuff that you're talking about, do you view fatigue as a potential reason for any of that?
No, I don't. I think we try to do a good job of whether it's practice or I think I've got a pretty good feel on when you got to push with some video, when you got to push some teaching, when you got to back off a little bit. So, I mean, it's a long season. Everybody goes through it, but I think we try to manage that as best we can. And everything that we do is geared around results, right? So one day you might say, hey, I got 10 things that we got to pound on today. And then you see your group and you say, you know what, today's not the right day to do it. So those are all feels for coaches that the staff has to have, not just myself, but both guys on special teams and Schwartzy with the goaltender. So it's a feel. Ultimately, you always have to do what's best to find your results. And coaches can get emotional or mad or watch a video, and it's always way easier on video. Like coaches can, oh, why didn't you go here? Why didn't you go here? It's different when you're a player, you know. But you can get too critical and get your team too down. And I've seen instances where no matter what you did, it doesn't seem like it's good enough. Well, there's times when you got to manage your team's mental psyche as well as the structure and how you play. So those things always are in the back of our mind.
Was that a bit of yesterday? Some decisions you made?
A little bit, yeah. A little bit, just to make sure that we're fresh and focused on the task at hand today.
David, looks like Koskinen might get the start. First time a goalie would start 3 in a row. What goes the decision to come back with him?
Just we need him to bounce back. We've had a couple games where Schmidt's been down and we've given him the opportunity to bounce back. Kosk's going to have a bounce back game tonight, so that's why we went back with him.
Okay, thanks.
All right.